This video is part of a collaboration with other DIY retailers. We are doing the hashtag 8-ounce challenge collaboration, so be sure to check out the playlist link in the description box below. So we've been challenged to see how much we can paint with just 8 ounces of DIY paint. So I'm going to see if I can paint this dresser and this mismatched mirror with 8 ounces of paint and combine them into one pretty dresser. First step is always to clean your piece well. Here I'm just using some warm water and some Dawn dish detergent, and I will rinse it off with a soft cloth that is water only. For all the paint and products used in this video today, you can shop my website, mamabearblue.com. I'm excited to get started on this dresser. I need to head down to my booth at Farm Girl Mercantile in Franklin, Indiana. I pick up some paint and wax for this project and show you a little bit of the shop. I love this little store. Farm Girl Mercantile is located in downtown Franklin, Indiana. It's a small historic town with tons of character, lots of good coffee shops, restaurants, shopping, art murals, concert venue. There's vintage shopping and antiques. Definitely worth checking out if you're ever in the Midwest area. Farm Girl Mercantile is getting ready to celebrate its 6th anniversary. It's owned by my good friend Tracy. She's done a great job with this shop, and I've been a vendor here since it opened. And this is Tracy. She, along with her family, work hard on this little shop, and it has paid off. People absolutely love coming here to shop. There's antiques, vintage, boutique clothing, handmade items, DIY supplies, of course, handmade candles. My son Eric hand pours these amazing Cause candles. You can check him out on Facebook at Cause Candles. I have to say this shop is amazing at Christmas time. It's like nothing you've ever seen, so definitely if you're in the area, you need to check it out at Christmas time. And I carry IOD, and of course, JRV stencils and papers, recycled papers made by Marley Papers. There's the awesome new DIY brushes and fully stocked paint, and that's why I stopped in today, because I need to pick up a color for this project. And I think I decided on Old School. This is a dark gray, kind of like a chalkboard color, and I also needed some clear wax, and I decided on this paint inlay by IOD, the Laurel. It's got some French words in front of it. I'm afraid to pronounce them, so I'll skip that. Let's go ahead and get started on this project. If you are new to DIY paint, it is a clay-based paint. It has a lot of pigment, and you can get great coverage with it. So I'm just starting by brushing on my first coat of paint. Sometimes to help the paint move along a little bit, I'll use my Water Girl mist bottle to mist on some water either onto the brush or onto the project, and just lay down my first coat of paint. I usually try to use long, smooth strokes. I do usually leave the drawers in while I'm painting, and then I will open them up and get that top edge. You can also do the sides if you'd like. I didn't in this case. So I am done with the first coat of paint, and I've only used about 1/4 of the can, so I'd say I'm doing pretty good. Is it cool under there, buddy? Continue with the shop tour of Farm Girl. This is the outside area, which I think is pretty cool. There is so many pretty flowers, and in the fall there'll be tons of pumpkins here. And this is, I call it Salvage Row, but you can find lots of neat vintage stuff down the side of the shop. Tracy's made really good use of this space. So this is what I mean by lifting that first coat up. Sometimes if you use too rough of a touch with the brush, or the first coat is not really completely dry, you'll just lift that first coat right back up. So I'm just gonna let that area around there dry, and then I'm gonna hit it again with another coat, and it will cover that. This is after 2 coats, and it is basically covered. There's just a few little spots on the legs that I'm gonna touch up when this is completely dry, and I still have about 1/4 of the can of paint left. So this mirror will need 2 coats. I don't usually tape off my mirrors because I can easily go in with some Windex and paper towel and a razor blade if needed and get that paint off of the mirror. So I'm starting on the paint inlay. I cut out the design that I want, and I did measure between the knobs so that I could find the center. So with the paint inlays, you just apply a coat of paint, and then you press in the paint inlay paper and use a damp rag. Make sure you dampen the whole area, and then you just let it dry. Then you're going to re-spritz the area with water after it has fully dried, re-wet it, and then use a rag and gently pull it off. And that pigment that is in the paint inlay will embed into that top layer of paint, and it just looks beautiful. This was kind of a rustic farmhouse style dresser, I thought, so I used some sandpaper, some 220, and just roughed up the edges as well as the paint inlay itself. This is after the paint inlay had fully dried. Then I wiped off all the sanding dust, and all that's left is to apply the wax. I have to show you the very back of the Farm Girl shop that we call the coop. This is where we do our classes. In fact, this week we had a class on IOD molds and stamps, and the ladies had a great time. And we love our pets at Farm Girl. Before I apply any wax or clear sealer over the paint inlay, I do make a 50-50 mix of Big Top and water, and I spritz it over the paint inlay, let it dry. Here I'm just dabbing up some drips. And then I repeat that process before I apply any brush-on product like the clear sealer or wax. Because sometimes if you use the brush over a fresh paint inlay, it will smear the pigment. So just be aware of that when you're using the paint inlays. It's time to clean up the mirror a bit, so I took that razor blade and carefully, so as not to scratch the glass or cut myself, scrape that paint off and followed up with some glass cleaner and paper towel. And I applied 1 coat of the DIY Paint Clear Wax. After you finish applying the wax, it will look streaky, so it's okay. After a day or two, that's going to level out and look really nice. The next day, I took a soft rag and just buffed the entire piece, and it was finished. And I didn't have a drop left of paint in that jar. So as far as the 8-ounce challenge goes, I was able to paint an entire dresser and a mismatched mirror and assemble them for this pretty dresser. Hope you enjoyed this 8-ounce challenge video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and for all the paint and products used here today, you can visit my website, mamabearblue.com. I'll see you next time.